Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and it's that time again. It's story time. So, today's title for our story time video is called That Time a Client Relocated Before Checking Available Internet Services. Again, the time a client, or we'll say clients, relocated before checking internet services. Before we get into this one, for those of you who are watching, if you listen to nothing else that I have to say on any of my videos on the entirety of our YouTube channel, whenever you move or relocate, whether it be for personal, for a home or home office, or for business, I cannot encourage you enough to check to find out what internet service providers are available before you build, before you sign a lease agreement, or before you sign a mortgage or a building, purchase contract. Excuse me, I'm battling a little bit of a cold at the time of this video. So anywho, I'm going to talk to you about two stories of two separate businesses that I have literally dealt with, both of these within the last 45 days of the time of this video, that unfortunately are in a position where they have built a home or built a brand new commercial facility, only to find out that the internet options that are available to them are not only non-existent, but the ones that are existent are extremely expensive. So anyways, let's just jump right into this. So the first person that I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to mention any names, is a school that recently contacted me, a private school / daycare that recently contacted me out of Minnesota. The individuals that actually built this school, this is a building that they built. So that was an expensive investment. They built a building that is going to be a private school / daycare. So this is a big facility, possibly 2 floors. This isn't a small facility. They're going to have somewhere in the ballpark of 25 voice over IP phones, as well as 25 PCs throughout the facility. For those of you who are watching that run a business, you already know for 25 voice over IP phones, and for 25 PCs, you need a lot of internet. Something small, like a 5 megabyte circuit or a 10 megabyte circuit, is not going to cut it. You guys know I work in the internet business, so I can tell you from experience, with approximately 25 PCs and 25 voice over IP phones, I would be recommending to somebody no less than approximately 100 megabyte circuit. In a perfect world, you really need about 150 megabyte circuit or higher. 100 could potentially do it, but 150 to 200 should do it. For people that are just completely anal about making sure they've got enough internet for everything, 500 megabyte circuit or even a gigabyte circuit would be great for 25 computers and 25 phones. But again, for the purposes of this conversation, me and this individual were looking at 150 megabyte circuit through Comcast was what he wanted, and I had no problem with that recommendation. Here's where things got hairy. When I got with my peoples, because as you guys know, I represent all providers in the United States, so I can run checks, get you the best pricing possible, regardless of city or state. I can find what's there, get you the best price on a contract, and get you the best terms. We found out that the only available options at this particular location for this private school were 1.5 megabit download and 1 megabit upload DSL through AT&T, what AT&T calls their UVerse package. For those of you watching, you're probably laughing because you already know. 1.5 megabit download, 1 megabit upload DSL, that isn't even not only enough to run 25 voice over IP phones and computers, that's not enough to run anything. That's not even enough for me to run this video that I'm doing right now that I'm currently uploading to YouTube in real time. So completely out of the question. The other option that was available was fiber, which fiber is a viable option, but it's expensive. Was fiber through AT&T. AT&T had fiber packages for this particular company ranging from $500 a month all the way up to $1,300 a month. The one that we found that looked like it might work was a 50 over 50. It was a 50 megabyte download, 50 megabyte upload. Still not what I would really recommend for this guy, but it is what it is. Beggars can't be choosy. For $560 a month, if he wanted to go up to the 150 or even to the 100, it was minimum of about $890 to $1,000 a month. I think the 100 megabyte circuit was about $850, and then the 150 was somewhere around like $1,150, $1,100 to $500 a month. It gets better, well, better in a bad way. The last and final option, because I spent almost 3 weeks searching carriers at this address for these individuals, for the owners of this facility. The last option available, which, believe it or not, I personally think was the best option. Comcast was willing to do a 150 megabyte circuit at this location, which is enough for the client, at 150 megabyte circuit at $108 a month. What's the catch? They wanted, because their service was approximately, I think they said like 75 meters or about 150 meters away from the client's building because it's new construction. They needed $13,000 US for construction, but they said the client only had to pay $9,000. Now, let's just stop here for a minute because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Prince, whoa, you said that you think option number 3, the $9,000 up front for the $108 a month Comcast broadband 150 megabyte is the best option. Yes. Even though it sucks, my thinking was this. If you're somebody who's building a building, especially building a commercial facility, you've obviously got some sort of funding, whether it be your own money or whether it be a private lender or multiple private lenders or an investor or whatever. In the grand scheme of things, if you're building a private school, let's be real, $9,000 is not a lot of money. But let's forget about that, because regardless of how much money you have, like an old good friend of mine who was an accountant many years ago used to tell me, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. So nobody wants to spend the $9,000, they'd rather keep it. But here's the thing. We already know the DSL at the 1.5 megabit was out of the question. That's not enough to run anything, not even an ice cream shop, with one computer. The fiber at the $560 a month, you figure after 24 months, you've above and beyond spent the $9,000 investment that Comcast wants for a simple small $108 a month. You follow me here? Number 2, for the fiber through AT&T, they wanted $560 a month to as high as $1,200 a month. So really, if you look at it from the overall cost of investment over time, in my opinion, I think paying Comcast their $900 up front to have them go ahead and run the internet for you to have a $108 a month bill, and then the service is there forever, is the best way to do it. For a home, I can't say that I would recommend that, but for a business, because it's generating money, it's just a cost of doing business. It's a tax write-off. It's an investment. You'll make the money back later, not only in running your business and making a profit, but in the fact that you've got a $108 a month Comcast bill versus a $560 to $1,200 a month fiber bill with AT&T that you never get out from under if you ever plan on, unless you plan on vacating that building, which you wouldn't because you built it. So that's my thinking there. Let's move to another example of one that's a little less extreme. So in the same month, actually in the same week, I had a woman that was a developer call me. She was a developer for a Fortune 500 company, had a full-time job. She just built a brand new home. I don't even think she's been in the house for more than 3 years. And the problem that she'd run into was she'd been using a Verizon MiFi for everything, for Netflix streaming, to run her business, for everything. She, on the side, has a very profitable development company where she does software development for businesses and individuals that need it on the side of her normal day job. Because she's a software developer, she's making the money to be able to, justify the cost. The problem was when I did a check for her, there was nothing available at her home. There was no DSL, no broadband with construction cost through Spectrum or Comcast or Verizon. The only options that she had was through AT&T. Now, there was good news and bad news, quite a silver lining here. She shopped AT&T fiber on her own, and AT&T was quoting her anywhere from $590 to $625 a month. I shopped it and was able to find some options for her that were coming in closer to $460. But still, who wants to pay almost $500 a month for fiber internet for a home office? Nobody even wants to pay that much for a business. So, anywho, Basically, the moral of the story for this video, because it's a very easy moral of the story, is before you build, before you even purchase a lot, let's just stop for a minute. At the time of this video, I'm actually trying to build a home. And it's funny because I looked at multiple lots all over the place, and I looked at one at one point that was a great deal. It's the one that we actually ended up settling on. But before we settled on it, it was so funny because the owner of the lot kept saying, oh man, this is a really good deal. You're not going to find a deal in this area. And I kept saying, look, he said, when can you put a deposit on the lot? And I said, as soon as I find out what internet is available there, because my business heavily relies on good internet service. Oh man, it's a good deal on the lot. I'm giving it to you for a much better price than what it's appraised for with the bank and so on and so forth. And I just cut the guy off right then and there. And I said, look, man, I'm going to just say this to you as nicely as I can. I don't care if you give me the lot for free. If I can't get internet at this lot, I'm not interested, because for me, if I don't have internet, I'm not in business. For anybody who's watching this video right now that runs a business, I would assume that you and I are both pretty much in agreement in the same manner. If you don't have internet, you're not in business in the 21st century. That's just the bottom line. So the bottom line and the moral of the story for this video in conclusion is, I would encourage all of you, whether it be a home office or for personal use, but more importantly for your business, before you build or break ground or secure a lot, before you sign a lease agreement for a new office or sign a buy agreement for an existing office, get with someone like me or anyone and find out what internet options are available at your new office. Because what you may find is you would not believe how much of a huge unexpected expense getting internet in areas where you may not have options available are. So anywho, that concludes the video. That time that a business decided to build or buy or move into a new office before checking internet. Again, if you're somebody who's watching this and you've got a move coming up or a relocation, or you're building or opening up an additional office to your business, give me a call. My service is free. I represent all phone and internet service providers in the United States. I am more than happy to take the address of your new location or locations, find out what services are available, and I will do the best I can to negotiate the best prices with the carriers for you on your behalf. Best of all, before you commit to anything, you can find out through me for free what is available at that office, or if there's anything available at all. Again, Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, your go-to guy for the best deals on business phone and internet service in the United States. I'll catch you guys again in the next video.